Hello, Lama from BarcoDev here, and in this tutorial of our build system tutorial series, we will be taking care of the validation system. So you cannot place buildables if they are overlapping, you cannot place them in the air, so they actually have to be grounded to be placed. And yeah, we're going to do that in this tutorial series. In the next one, we're going to create that menu right here, and after that, the tutorial series for the building system will be finished. As always, you can get the complete project files on our Patreon. It would help us out a lot, but let's get right into the tutorial. Yeah, so let's start by changing up our BP buildable base class a little bit, so the class your other buildables are child from. So let's just open that up and go into the viewport. And what we're going to do here is we're going to add a box collision, and we have to place that exactly the same as our base buildable. So we will have to place it 50 up, and we do not want to scale it here. We want to change the box extents, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it should be 100 by 100, and I'm wrong. It's 50 by 50 by 50, like so. And we can now see that it's perfectly aligned with our box buildable. And that will be the zone in which is checked if the box is overlapping something. But because the box is 50 by 50 by 50, that means it will also overlap with its neighbor. So if we've got a block right here, it will say overlapping even if they are just right besides each other. Which is why we will be going into the event graph and then go into begin play, drag our box over here, and we're going to plug out, get extents, the extent of the box, and we're going to split that up, and we're going to subtract 1 from it, or 0.1, doesn't really matter as long as it's not 0, to make it just a tiny bit smaller. And then we will have to set the box extent, split that, put that into here like so. Update overlap should be checked, and we can then connect that. And what that does, it basically, no matter what size your box extent is, it will always be -1. So if there are 2 blocks right beside each other, they will not be saying that they overlap, because we've made some space for them. And yeah, we can now compile and save that, and we can now start by creating a function which is called isOverlapping. And in that function we are going to check if the box is overlapping, and we can do that by get overlapping actors. And we do not need a class filter, but we can then promote that to a variable, overlapping actors, like so. We can connect that, and we're going to remove item from this, which will be our self. So we will get a reference to our self and remove that out of here, because the box will at the moment call that it's overlapping this cube, and that's wrong because that's the buildable itself, which is why we will be then just we will be removing ourselves from the overlapping actors. And now we're going to take the overlapping actors again and check for their length, because if the length is greater than 0, it means something is overlapping. And in that case, we want to return, add a returner and drag that into here and call that boolean overlapping. We want to return if it's greater than 1, because then it's overlapping, and that concludes our overlapping function. Pretty straightforward. And in addition to that, we're going to create a isOnGround function, which will then be used to check if the buildable is on the ground. And we're going to take our world location from that. We have to do that. Yeah, we have. We're going to break that. You can't split it this time because we also need that. Because we are going to do a box trace by channel, and the starting position will be our world location, and we are going to split the end one because the x and y will be exactly that, but the z-axis will be -10 or the value you want to check. So it's basically the boxcars will at the moment be this position of the box, but -10. So that was actually too much. Like this, it will check if something's on the ground. You could use 1, you can use 5, whatever you prefer. And yeah, so we are going to go into the actual right function, is on ground, and -10, and plug that into the z. And for the half size, we are going to get our box extend, because we already know how big it is. And we are also going to get our world rotation, because if it's rotated, we need the boxcars to be like that. And for the debug frame, we're going to save for 1 frame so we can actually see it. And do we have to change anything else? No, I don't think so. So we can return. And we're going to return if it's hitting something, so if it's on the ground. And we're going to call that is on ground, like so. Yeah. You could technically tune that, because I've just noticed perhaps if the character gets hit, it will also say is on ground, and that could be abused. So you could get actors, all actors of class, and then go like BP third person character, something like that. But that's I don't want to do that right now, but that's how you could filter out that, for example, foliage does not count, or players do not count, dropped items do not count, whatever. You are going to have to exclude that right here, just so you know when you're customizing the system. Perfect, and if I'm not mistaken, that's that for the buildable. So we can now go over into the actor component. And I just noticed I've missed something, which is why we'll be double clicking this to get into our BP buildable again, and we're going to create a new function which is called isValidPlacement, and in that we're going to take our isOverlapping, and we are also going to take our isOnGround like this, and if it's not overlapping, not like this, if it's not overlapping, where is it? Not, and on ground, then the placement is valid. So like this, and save that, and we can now go into our buildability, delete that, and change it out with isValidPlacement. And that was also why I was searching for that, but I haven't created it. So we can now connect that, and if we now compile save and go into our level again, we can see that it's red at the moment, and that is wrong. Yeah, and I've just noticed why that is, because we are currently testing with the long one, and we've just changed the parent one. So we have to go into the full blueprint editor of our buildable long and go into here, take our box, and now on the y-axis we have to do 100, because it's now 2 by 1 by 1, so 100 by 50 by 50. And as we can see now, it's aligned as well, and we can go like this and test, and we can see that the hitbox is colliding, but I know, I mixed up the materials again. Happens to the best. So like this. If we now compile, save, it's green, and if we overlap, it's not green. That's exactly how we want it to be. Okay, perfect. That now works. Sorry for the confusion. So just to sum it up, invalid has to go into false, valid has to go into true, isValidPlacement, double click that, it's is overlapping or it's not overlapping, and is on ground. That's the valid placement. Okay, perfect. And yeah, that's basically the check. You could now go into here and add as many checks as you want. You could change the isGround check to has adjacent buildable thing, because if we do it right now, you're probably going to notice that while testing, we can't place anything here. Oh, we can, because I have not done the second step. But it's saying invalid if we're looking at this like that, and that's for your building game perhaps not the ideal thing. So you could change the is on ground function. You could change that out with the has adjacent buildable function, and that would be just a raycast in every direction and not only the z-axis. And yeah, you're going to do that in the is valid placement thing, and then just build out your valid boolean and use that in the buildability. And that's how that works. But we can now take these two, copy them, because if we are requesting a placement, we have to actually check if it's a valid placement, and only if it's valid we are going to take true. So if we now go ahead and test and do it like this, I'm just hitting my build button at the moment, if you can hear it. I think you can hear it. And it does not work because it's not valid, and that's exactly what validation does. And yeah, that sums up this episode already, because that's everything you need. You need the isValid function, and you are going to call it at the places where you need to check. Yeah, and assign the material we've done in episode 1, like that. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everything works for you. If not, don't hesitate to join our Discord. I'm happy to help there, or just write a comment so everybody can see the answer. Yeah, leave a subscription to our channel, leave a like, it would mean a lot, and see you in the next one. Bye.